I did actually get a lot of good advice from Chris Lord-Alge when I worked with him. He mixed some of the Pete Yorn songs that I produced, and as a producer, engineer, musician, I tend to kind of be thinking about the finished product in my head the whole time. So as an engineer, I'm dialing up a bass sound, but I have to make sure I don't over-mix it while I'm recording it. So being able to have that separation between recording engineer and mix engineer in my head has been really helpful, and that's something that Chris would show me some of the tracks that he got, as he said many times that the producer had stuffed 2 pounds of bologna into a 1 pound bag, and now what's he supposed to do with it? So as far as thinking in terms of the process and the end goal and not screwing things up when you're setting the microphone up, that's been a lot of wisdom that I think about very often.